Yo, 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 just a man and his son, man like Rubes. As promised, this is the beginning of the childhood series, part one. Um, so I'm just gonna kick it off straight away because this is right. This is about you lot understanding what I believe that what you see in your childhood or what happens in your childhood affects your adult life. You might have certain things might have happened. You might live a certain way now because of it, etc. So this is part of you understanding why I became the adult I became, the dad I became. Let me just get comfortable, guy. My back's broke up. The dad I became, stuff like that. So I'm gonna start with this. I didn't have a bad childhood. When I told my mum I was doing this, she was like, "Yeah, because you had such a bad childhood." I said, "I never had a bad childhood, mum. I've never said that. I had a regimented childhood, and certain things happened to me in my childhood where it affected me as an adult, and still does to this day in a way. So I didn't have a bad childhood. We always had good food on the table, joke in the yard. There was me, my sister, and my little brother. We always had toys. We always had the latest computer games, stuff like that. But there was aspects to this, right? So, for example, we had a games console. Normal people just put the games console on the shelf to play the games console when they're ready. We could only play it at a certain time, which I kind of understand in a way. Do what you got to do in the yard and etc. etc. Homework, whatever. Then do it. Then play. That's cool. I'm going back a while though. This is when we was young, but my dad expected us to put it back in the box, wrap it back up, put it back in the box every time we finish using it. So if we, it's just long, so we had to do that. And for me, I didn't want to. And I always used to argue with him, like, why do we have to do this when we're going to play it tomorrow? And he's like, do as I say. So it was under his control. So that there, from young, having to do certain little things like that. I know it sounds a bit minor to you lot, but I know what I'm on about because as I go on now, you'll understand as an adult what I do. Certain things that I do. I put stuff, well, basically, I put stuff back in the box and make sure it's still crisp. Just, and that stems from that. So as we was growing up now, this right, this is talking on camera is one thing, yeah, but then talking about certain things that have happened to you, opening up cans of worms, it's kind of tough. So if I go quiet, it's because I'm processing. So growing up, there was me, my sister, my brother, my mum, and my dad. My sister was oldest, then there was me and my brother. There was like 2 years between us all. So we was close. We were close. So you know what it's like. You've got kids yourself. Weekends come. I don't remember my dad taking me to school ever. I can tell you that for a fact. I cannot remember my dad taking me to school ever. I remember him picking me up maybe once or twice, but I never recall him taking me. And I remember my mum used to work nights and have to stay awake and take us to school and stuff like that. I just didn't understand it. Cause you're there, what are you doing? So weekends come now. Obviously, we get up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We go downstairs. We want to play with our toys, make up noise, and we wasn't allowed to make noise. We wasn't allowed to play with toys. We had to sit there. So if we was making noise and we woke our dad up making noise, he'd run downstairs with a belt and beat the shit out of us. Now, and then we used to sit there and because we was crying, we was making noise. What are you crying for? You've just fucking rasped us with a belt. Now my thing is this: why the hell are you going ham on your kids like that? Why do you have to go to that extreme on your kids? I just didn't understand it, and that was years of it. We got that year after year after year, just bare licks for no reason. And now once do I blame my mum because my mum was under the control of a regimented man, so I don't blame her at all in the slightest, and I never would. Um, it was him. This is tough for me to talk about because I don't get along with my dad. I spoke to my dad in probably 15 years or something. I don't talk to him, don't like him. That's real talk. You know how real I am, and you'll understand why I don't like him. So as I say now, yeah, certain things stem. What you see in childhood or what happens in childhood affects your adult life. Like Christmas, for example. I used to hate Christmas before I had REMS. I used to hate Christmas. It was just a normal day to me because, and I'll tell you why. When we right, my dad's a Rasta man, yeah. So Rastas don't celebrate Christmas, yeah. So if that's the case, right, I went to school with a Jehovah Witness, yeah, and he didn't celebrate Christmas, so he didn't get no presents. Cause he don't celebrate Christmas. His parents don't celebrate Christmas. You're a Rasta man, you don't celebrate Christmas, but you're giving my mum money to go and buy his presents. Right, okay, cool. So you don't celebrate Christmas, but you have all the food and you do all the thing Christmas related, but you don't celebrate it. Okay. So because he bought the presents, he wanted to watch us open the presents. So imagine Christmas Day now, we're running downstairs, but it's Christmas. We've got to wait till he gets up. You know what time he's getting up? 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So Christmas for us was just a normal day because there was no joy there. So it got to the point where we'd just stay in bed till 10, 11, and then but I think it changed one year when my mum must have had a word with him and said, nah man, you need to get up. Even if you get up, watch him and then go back to bed. But I think eventually, so what that did, so that was, I can't remember what age that was from, probably 6 to 10 before we moved, because I moved when we was 11. So yeah, about 6 to 10. I remember that, them Christmases there. And then the last Christmas in the house that we grew up in Dalton, um, he he got up and it changed his view on it because he saw the joy on our faces. So year after that, now he got up, but then went back to bed, which some parents do. Um, so yeah, that's why I didn't like Christmas. But you see now, because I've got my kids, it's so magical. Like I love the joy on the faces, and even Rems is 12, and I still surprise him with stuff that he thinks he's not gonna get, and I downplay it just to see that look on his face. Obviously, he's getting older now, so more time he'll choose things, but I'll still surprise him with things that I've seen him looking at throughout the year and thing. Um, and I think when I had Rems, it changed me. It was his mum actually that said to me, "You can't be like that now with Christmas. You've got a son. You've got to change." And I did, and now I could not get out of my bed when they're jumping on the bed at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm jumping, they're jumping. I'm like, yo, if in fact last Christmas I had to wake Rems up. I'm like, yo, it's Christmas, man, get up. Um, so yeah, that's why I don't like Christmas. Well, I didn't like Christmas, but obviously I do now. But you see what I'm saying about them kind of things there. Now people might think it's minor, but imagine running downstairs and seeing all your presents and you can't touch them till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They just sat there and it's Christmas Day. You're bored of all your old toys because you know you're getting new toys and you've got to sit there and wait. That's mental torture for me. It was because I'm a kid and I don't understand it. Why are you not getting out of your bed, bro? We're your kids. So yeah, we used to get beat for any little thing, man. Just licks. And the thing is, back then it wasn't really frowned upon, beating your kids. Obviously nowadays you can't beat your kids and them things there you get done. Picnic get taken off, you know, all them things there. But back then it wasn't like that. It was just pure licks to keep us in line. And I think that's made me not touch my kids. I don't do that to my kids. I couldn't dream of beating my kids with a belt. Hard leather belt, mashing up the skin. No, sir, not me. Not me. So, as I previously mentioned, we grew up in a place called Dalton. One sec. Yeah, grew up in a place called Dalton. And this is another mad thing. See, this is the thing. When I talk about these things, I've obviously been through things in my teenage years and my adult life, but through my younger years, I've been through stuff as well, and I've had to turn things madly around, and you'll understand this, right? So when we lived in Dalton, there was a family across the road, a white family, and we suffered racial abuse from them for months on end, and no matter what we fired back with, they just didn't let up. Black bastard this, black that, going to school fighting with the youths all the time. And then they put a camera up. No, this is after they put the camera up. Actually, they put the camera up after this incident. So right, there was a period of my life where I didn't like white people. This sounds sick, right? But there was a period of my time in my life where I didn't like white people because of this racial abuse that I suffered because I was young. I think I was 8. No, I was older. I was 10, 11. And because of that, I didn't like white people. And it wasn't a case of, oh, all white people are, I thought all white people are racist because that's what I grew to know. It was weird. I can't explain it properly, but obviously I turned that around. That's now, God, hell no, I'm not even like that. But obviously growing up and my dad saying certain things as well while that was all going on, and I had to listen. I listened to my dad, obviously, because he was my dad, and I looked up to him, even though he was the way he was. It was still my dad. So, that made me hate white people for a bit. My dad's very manipulative, and he can get into your mind. So, that was that. People ask me why I hate the police. Is it because they always pull you over and try and do this and rare and this and that, and you was a roadman? No, not at all. Because every run-in that I've had with the police, I always put them in the place. But when we was younger now, this racism thing got a bit serious. And my little brother and his brethren were playing out in the garden. And I remember I was by the front door and I heard my little brother scream and run inside. And the other boys ran inside. I'm not going to mention their names because it's not even like that. And said that the dad of the racist people, put a gun to their faces and said, my brother was he would have been about 7 or 8, and said, fuck with me and my family again and I'll shoot you. So my dad just got his machete and ran across the road, banging on the door trying to get in, can't get in. That's when I looked at my dad different. I thought, you know what, go on. Because that's the things I had done. I'd have booted off that door on me still had I got in. So anyway, that's happened. The other parents of the boys, my mum's took them home, explained what happened. They're like, yo, we need to ring the police. So my mum's rang the police now and told them what's happened. And they've said to my mum on the phone, my mum told them it's a racist incident. And they've said to my mum on the phone, what colour are you and what colour's the man across the road? And my mum said, what's that relevant to? And they said, it's just for our records to get a picture of what's been happening. So that was that. It took them 3 days to come out and see my little brother. He's 8 and he's just had a gun put to his face. And then when they came, they was disinterested. Like they took their side. They went to them first. Because my dad went to, so my dad got arrested for going to their yard with a machete, but he didn't get arrested for putting a gun to my brother's face. Mad thing. So that's why I don't like police. For that incident, and I'll always be like that because there was two reasons. Don't matter what colour, who is, someone's put a gun to somebody's face. So yeah, so that was that. Obviously, the police didn't do nothing. So I was like, do you know what? Fuck this. This is right. There's something about me that a lot of you don't know. I've got a short ass temper, and obviously I've tranquiled it now. I've got kids. More that my daughter calms me down more than anything. But from young, them beats my dad give me, the racial abuse I suffered, all that anger was in me from 6 to 16 when I started going kickboxing and started getting my anger out and started being able to learn how to channel that anger because I would just vex. Now, that's 10 years of anger. and I've still got it in me somewhere. Now it's here, but why? Sometimes it boils over. And so when I was younger, that anger just came out one day, and I said, you know what, Loudest. We seen one of the youths who was racist walking down the alley. I'll never forget it. Rough up lane. Me, my sister, my brother. I said, yo, let's just deal with him. Fuck it, I've had enough. Let's deal with him. So we've run down and broke it. When I say we've broke him, though, I'm talking we've broke him, stomped him out, threw bricks at him, smacked him up, did everything, smacked him up. He's then come yard bawling. Ah! We've gone yard. My mum's at work, dad's at work. Them time there, we had key. My sister was 12. My sister high school them time. Yeah, high school. My sister high school, so she was 12, 13. And yeah, should have been about 13. And next minute, on door. So I've grabbed the stick, thinking it's the dad, but it's not. It's Babylon. So it's police now. Police have come and tried to force their way in, and my sister's like put her foot up against the door, and they've pushed the door, arrested us all, for assault. My man's 11 in the back of a police car, and one of the man them from Dalton seen it, and I think a message got to my mum anyway, who was at work, and obviously, and then my dad found out, and then I remember him coming. We was in there for hours. We had interview and all them thing there, and then, but what they did was they put me and my sister in the same room, so we sat there for hours getting our story concrete, and we bust that case because we got our story concrete was to the T. Said that he started it, so we finished it, and told them what we'd suffered and the gun incident and everything, and we just bust case. And I think my dad got arrested again for something. I can't remember what happened. I think one of them called him a black bastard in the shop, so I spat at him, and my dad got arrested for that as well. So it was just madness. So at the time when we got arrested, my dad was decorating our new house because we was moving to Bradley. So after that, now obviously we were still in Dalton living. They didn't really come out of their yard too tough after that because he got brooked up. So we showed him what time it really was. And then I was 11, and then we moved. So I moved from Rothorpe High School. In fact, I was in high school then. Yeah, I was in high school year 7. Oh, what? So I moved from Rothorpe High School to Fartown High School, and we moved house to Bradley. And that's part 1. My night rooms over and out.